Hey, this is Notser, and today we're taking a look at the Tier 10 Soviet destroyer, Delny. This recently replaced the Kaba as the mainline Tier 10 Soviet DD. I'm going to showcase a game, talk about my build, and tactics that I use. The Kaba is still available though. You can get it in the armory for coal, if you would like. Now, as far as the build is concerned, main armament mod 1, extended duration engine boost. The engine boost really is your lifeblood, just like a French DD. Improved main battery accuracy. Improved propulsion. Concealment. Improved main battery reload. You cannot equip the range option in slot 6 on the ship, just as the Kaba could not. But the convenient thing is that the Delny basically gets 2 kilometers baked into the extra range of the guns, so you pretty much get it for free, which is nice. For the commander, incoming fire alert to active dodge, last stand for tankiness, survivability for tankiness, concealment for concealment, radio location for hunting, adrenaline rush for tankiness, superintendent for the extra charge of heal and speed boost, and then rounding it out, preventative maintenance. That is just to make us even more tanky. So, what's the name of the game for this ship? Tanky, brawling, absorption, all of the above. So the Kaba was an 8-gun 130mm DD that pretty much had to play like it was a cruiser because its concealment was awful, its torpedoes were nerfed into the ground. It used to have long-range torpedoes, like 10-kilometer range. So even with its horrible, like 9.5 kilometer detection, you could still technically stealth fire torpedoes until they took that away. The Delny is a fascinating ship because it is a clear improvement over the Kaba by such a wide margin that it's honestly embarrassing that the Kaba was in such a state. But now that we have Delny, that's all cool. So what does the Delny do differently from the Kaba? Well, instead of 8 guns of 130 millimeters, it has 6 guns, more traditionally like the Grozovoy or your typical 6-gun DD. It's very traditional. On top of that, it actually has longer range torpedoes. It has 10-kilometer range torpedoes, which can easily be used from stealth. The stealth on this ship is remarkable. My build actually gets it down to 7.4 kilometers, which is amazing for a lot of different things in this game. It obviously allows you to get really close. I have many times already rushed a player who has tried to attempt to run away, maybe like a Shima or a Gearing, and he can't get away from me. I play this ship very similar to that of the Kleber. Always be moving, active dodge, fire the guns on cooldown. And if you're given an opportunity, ambush and use what you have to your advantage. Obviously, this does not have main battery reload, but it does have a heal, and the heal is very substantial. It's probably the biggest DD heal on average. So it's very useful and very effective. The other option, of course, you could use smoke. It's less required to play as a basic DD than the Kaba. The Kaba definitely needs smoke if you want to try and attempt to play it more traditional. The Delny, not so much. 7.4 kilometer, yes, it's not the best, but it's the best among the DDs if there's no other DDs to contest with, right? And that's how I like to play my Kleber. That's how I'm going to play the Delny. This enemy, my radio location is pointing over to this west side, and clearly we're running into something because we're detected. So I do a quick check to see, who could this potentially be? It's the Gearing. Well, he gets this first set off, and man, we get so unlucky with that. I was so disgusted by the momentum. If I would have just allowed the ship to sail straight even, I probably would not have taken that torpedo. But I was afraid that the first set would have clipped the back half of the ship, and of course we take a torpedo, so does it really matter? But we do force the player to use his smoke. And we do know he doesn't have torpedoes. So this is cueing me to aggressively push into him. And our radio location is pointing directly at him, and there he is. Now, he does have significant amount of armor on the outside. I could switch to AP, but I prefer high explosive for the interruption, the ease of use. I can move it around the ship very easily. This was a little closer than I thought it would be. I was hoping that he would mainly hit the 50mm and have to switch to AP or something, and I would angle against it. We do end up dealing with him quite nicely, but we did take a lot of damage in the process. And oh, please don't set us on fire. Awesome. Looks like we've got an incoming shell. Yep. Enemy battleship just fired on us, so I'm just going to place my ship directly into the island. And we took care of the enemy gearing. Not optimally. The nice thing about something like the Delny is trading is very healthy for it, because that's one of the things that it has an advantage on. This is something like the Pan-European DDs with their heals. Their heals, admittedly, though, are not as large as that of the Delny or the Soviet DD line as a whole. But for the longest time, the Tier 10 just didn't really function as like a brawling DD. It functioned more like a light cruiser. And I can raise my hand and tell you right now, I did not care at all about the light cruiser play. If I wanted a light cruiser, I would play a light cruiser. The Khaba, it just didn't stick around to me. They just did too many things to it by taking away its torpedoes and the 10% rule and being the only ship that wasn't, and then finally added to the 10% rule. You know, for a long time, the Khaba's just been mediocre. But the Delny will not be mediocre. This pairs very nicely with that of a Kleber, just a little bit more tankier. It's got that 50mm along the side of the ship, which is really nice for brawling against pretty much any ship in the game, save for maybe a battleship. But you're not going to brawl with a battleship. You're going to stay at range. You're going to use your advantage, and you're going to use your torpedoes, which you can actually use. What a concept. It's really a breath of fresh air coming off of the Khaba, because the Khaba is just so not a DD, but it takes a DD slot. The Delny is as DD as it gets, but it has the qualities that are useful that the Khaba had. 50mm, the 130, the HE, AP, actually using torpedoes at this point, the speed. So yeah, I'm very happy with this. 2 thumbs way up from my point of view. Now, in this matchup, we're playing in the Dirigible Derby. The Dirigible Derby is a new game type that they're testing on live. It's Tier 10 only, but it's fantastic. And I hope that this game mode will make its way over to random battle in all the tiers eventually, because it really is very fun. All you have to do is escort a airship and deny the enemy airship the chance to move over to the lighthouse. And the lighthouse is indicated with an icon on the mini-map, and if I do a quick check to the right, you'll see a literal lighthouse that it's sailing over to. The dirigibles go at 50% speed by default, 100% speed with 1 or more ships friendly, and then 0% speed if an enemy ship happens to be in their cone of influence or capture. And it's a really fun game mode. It takes about 10 minutes. It's played on the same maps. The maps have their own unique flavor. I really enjoy it. Now, we're going to get some torpedo hits on this guy, and unfortunately we don't get a flood. But I can very easily play the corner island game effectively, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to feel any sympathy because, you know, for the longest time I couldn't even get into this position. Ooh. Yue Yang able to take out the target. We're still in a good position where we can watch over our friendly airship as it's pushing in. I actually have 1 set of torpedoes ready to go, and there is potential that there is an enemy. Now, the reason why I sent my torpedoes there is quite simply the enemy would need to sail through that area in order to stop this game from ending shortly. This game will probably end in the next 30 to 1 minute. So anytime you can send torpedoes at a known flank that the enemy is coming, because they have to, it's either you lose to not responding to the threat of capture, or you take torpedoes. You know. So instead of using the second set, I noticed that there is a Shikishima who is decidedly pushing up to maybe potentially deny the friendly dirigible. So I'm like, oh, we're going to go after him. Immediately, though, air spots us. So this is not a surprise anymore. So I'm very concerned that this will not be enough, but I do indeed send it. And I'm firing into the part of the ship that can't avoid it. We're going to quickly switch to AP because I am concerned that, yes, indeed, we don't have enough. But AP on that bow fully and 100% does the damage. And, oh, we just barely survived. Under 400 life. But we survived nonetheless, and, you know, it was really fun to do. I really have enjoyed the Delny. The premium skin looks awesome, 120,000 damage done, and we got to do some Derby. Derby, honestly, is my favorite game mode that they've added. It's really awesome. So, yeah, the Delny works really well, very fast, very tanky, very good at producing potential damage, very good at firing from range. It also has torpedoes that are usable. I mean, it's got a lot, and its concealment almost 2 kilometers better than the Kaba. So definitely recommend. If you are interested in a brawler as a DD, and you should be, because the Kleber and the Marceau are basically brawlers in a different design, you should consider picking up the Delny. And this ship won't let you down, quite like the Kaba. And, you know, we'll see. We'll have to wait and see if they make any changes or tweaks to it. But it really comes down to the player's control, enhancing it and making it even more valuable. So I like that. If you enjoyed the video, please like. You can also subscribe to my channel. I stream at twitch.tv/Notser. If you would like to tune in live, you can always do that. It's fun hanging out with the community. Thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.